Something is moving your legs. You can feel it. Every step. Every twitch. Your jaw opens. You didn't tell it to do that. 3 weeks ago, a spore the size of a dust particle landed on your back. You didn't feel it. 2 weeks ago, it ate through your armor and entered your blood. You didn't notice. 6 days ago, it wrapped itself around every muscle in your body. You kept working. This morning, it cut the connection between your brain and your legs. Your brain still works. Your eyes still see. You are watching yourself climb a stem you did not choose, open your jaw over a leaf you do not recognize, and bite down so hard your muscles will tear themselves apart in the next 4 seconds. You cannot stop it. You are awake for all of it. Skip back. You begin as an egg, smaller than a grain of sand, translucent, laid in total darkness at the bottom of a nest that stretches through rotting wood like a buried city. The queen laid you. She is the only individual in this colony that will ever reproduce. She is enormous, 100 times your mass, encased in armor twice as thick as yours, and she will live for 15 years. You will not. You are one of her millions of daughters. You don't know that. You don't know anything yet. You don't even have a brain yet. Your older sisters find you within seconds. They carry you deeper into the brood chambers, the warmest, most protected rooms in the colony. They coat you in saliva, not affection, chemistry, antibacterial, antifungal secretions that form a thin chemical shield over your shell. The underground is full of things that dissolve organic matter. Mold, bacteria, spores. Your sisters have been fighting them since before you existed. You hatch. Blind, legless, apale, soft grub with no exoskeleton and no way to move. Your sisters feed you mouth to mouth. They chew food into liquid and push it directly into you. Because you cannot chew, cannot crawl, cannot do a single thing for yourself. If they stop feeding you for 1 day, you die. You are not a creature yet. You are a project. You molt. Your skin splits, and you wriggle out of it slightly larger. You molt again, and again. Each time a little harder, a little more defined. Then you spin silk from glands near your mouth, wrap yourself in a dense cocoon, and dissolve. Everything you were breaks apart inside that casing. Your cells reorganize. Your body rebuilds from nothing. When you emerge, you are someone else entirely. 6 legs, compound eyes, a pair of mandibles that can generate enough force to lift 50 times your own body weight, and a pair of antennae so sensitive they can detect a single molecule of alarm pheromone from 3 body lengths away. You step out of the pupal chamber. The signal hits you like a wall. The signal. That is the only word for it. A storm of chemical information so dense it drowns everything else. Every tunnel is coated in pheromone trails. They tell you where to walk, where not to walk, what to carry, what to eat, who is your sister, who is an intruder. The trails layer on top of each other. Hundreds of chemical messages written and rewritten every hour by thousands of bodies moving through the dark. The signal is the colony. The colony is the signal. You do not exist outside of it. A single ant, separated from the chemical network, will wander in circles until it dies. It won't eat. It won't rest. It won't know how to do either, because the signal is what tells you how to be alive. You don't question this. You don't have the architecture to question it. You follow the signal the way your spiracles open and close. Automatically, totally. It tells you who you are every second of every day. And you obey because obedience is the only thing your body knows how to do. Remember the signal. Everything that happens later starts with losing it. Your first assignment is the brood chamber. You tend eggs, you clean larvae, you rotate pupae when the temperature shifts by half a degree. You carry waste. Dead sisters, fungal debris, scraps of exoskeleton. You haul it all to a designated dump chamber at the colony's edge. You do this for weeks. The work has no beginning and no end. The colony does not sleep. It does not pause. It has no off switch. There is only the signal. And the signal always says more. You are disposable and you are essential. Both at the same time. There are 10,000 workers in this colony, and every one of them is doing exactly what you are doing. And none of them will ever reproduce. The queen lays every egg. You raise them. You feed them. You die, and the next sister takes your place. That is the contract. Nobody signed it. Nobody needed to. Skip forward. You are older now. 3 weeks old. Your body chemistry shifts. Not by choice, not by decision, but by a biological timer you cannot see. You stop walking toward the brood chambers. You start walking toward the exit. The light hits you for the first time in your life. You step onto the outer bark of a tree 40 meters above the rainforest floor. The canopy opens in every direction. Branches, moss, orchids, open air with no walls, no ceiling, no tunnels. You have never seen the sky. You have never felt wind. Every receptor on your antennae fires at once, overwhelmed by a chemical landscape 1,000 times larger than anything you've experienced. You pick up a trail. An older sister walked this route and left a pheromone thread. You follow it. You don't know where it goes. You follow it because the signal says follow. The trail leads to an aphid colony on the underside of a leaf. Tiny, soft-bodied insects that excrete a sugar-rich droplet called honeydew. You drink it. You store it in your social stomach, a second stomach that exists specifically to carry food back to the colony. The honeydew is not for you. Almost nothing in your life is for you. You turn around. You follow the trail home. You feed your sisters mouth to mouth. You turn around again. You walk back out and back. This is your life now. Every trip is a gamble. Birds, spiders, army ants, parasitic flies, and 100 other things that eat carpenter ants for a living. Every return is a delivery. You eat just enough to keep your legs moving. The rest flows into the signal, into the queen, into the next generation of daughters who will do exactly what you do until they stop coming back. Skip forward. You are at full power now. 5 weeks old, the peak of your capabilities, and here's what you are. You carry loads 50 times your own body weight across vertical surfaces without slowing down. You navigate a 3-dimensional maze of branches using a chemical map that your sisters redraw every hour. You communicate in a language of over 20 distinct pheromone compounds. Alarm, trail, recruitment, recognition, death. You process this information through antennae that contain more olfactory receptors than a human nose has cells. You grip bark so tightly that wind cannot dislodge you. You fight with mandibles that snap closed fast enough to sever the leg of another insect. You work in a coordinated unit of 10,000 bodies that together can strip a tree of its honeydew supply, defend a territory the size of a tennis court, and raise a generation of brood in total darkness with zero error. You are an extraordinary machine built from chitin, chemistry, and 48 million years of refinement. A superorganism's most finely calibrated tool. You will live 45 days. The queen will live 15 years. She will produce millions of daughters in that time. You are one of them. You will never lay a single egg. You will never pass on a single gene. Your entire existence, every load you carried, every larva you fed, every trail you walked, serves a colony that will replace you within hours of your death and never register the loss. That is not the cruel part. That is just the architecture. Every ant ever born has lived under those terms. The cruel part landed on your back 6 days ago. You didn't feel it. A single ascospore, smaller than a red blood cell. It drifted down from a fruiting body on a dead ant hanging from a leaf 40 meters above you. It stuck to the plate between your shoulder segments. You tried to groom it off. Your front legs scraped across the spot 3 times. It didn't move. Over the next 8 hours, the spore germinated. It secreted enzymes, targeted acids that dissolve chitin. Your exoskeleton is the hardest material your body produces. The spore treated it like wet paper. It pushed and dissolved, until it punched through your armor and entered your hemolymph, the fluid that serves as your blood. You walked home that night. You fed your sisters. You slept in the brood chamber surrounded by 10,000 bodies that are genetically programmed to detect and destroy infected nestmates. If any of them smelled sickness on you, they would seize you, drag you through the tunnels, and throw you into the waste dump to die alone. The colony does not treat the sick. The colony removes them. None of your sisters smelled anything. The thing inside you had already solved that problem. For 16 days, you lived 2 lives. On the outside, you are a perfectly functioning forager. You walk the trails, you bring back honeydew, you pass every chemical checkpoint, your sisters groom you, and detect nothing. You stand next to the queen's chamber, and no alarm triggers. On the inside, you are being replaced. The fungus circulates through your blood as free-floating cells. It absorbs your nutrients. It divides. It doubles. It evades your immune cells by changing its surface proteins faster than your body can recognize them. By day 10, the fungal cells make up 1/4 of your body mass. By day 14, they make up nearly half. You are carrying more fungus than ant inside your own exoskeleton, and you have no way of knowing. Then the cells stop floating and start building. One by one, the fungal cells link together. They form tubes. The tubes connect into a vast, 3-dimensional scaffolding that grows outward from your abdomen and thorax. This network wraps around every muscle fiber in your legs, around the muscles in your thorax that power your gait, around the muscles in your head that control your mandibles. Thread by thread, it wires itself into your motor system. It maps your body with a precision that took 48 million years to develop. It never touches your brain. Not a single fungal cell crosses into your head capsule. It infiltrates everything below the neck and leaves your mind completely, deliberately intact. You are still in there, aware, processing, seeing through your own eyes as something else finishes building a control system around your skeleton. And then it takes the one thing that matters most. The signal dies. The fungus releases a molecule, a dense, spiked peptide that finds the chemical receptors in your antennae and binds to them, locks them, shuts them down. The pheromone world disappears. Not gradually, not partially, completely. One moment, you can read every trail, recognize every sister, feel the chemical heartbeat of 10,000 bodies working in synchrony. The next moment, silence. The trails are gone. The markers are gone. The sisters standing 2 body lengths from you are strangers. The tunnels you've walked every day of your life are unmarked corridors, leading nowhere. You are standing in the middle of your colony, and you are completely alone. You begin to wander, not because something scared you, not because you are injured, because the signal, the only thing that ever told you who you are, just stopped. And without it, you don't know how to stay. Your legs start twitching. The fungus floods your system with compounds, alkaloids from the ergot family. Your muscles fire without input from your brain. Your coordination collapses. You stagger sideways across the bark. Your mandibles open and snap shut on nothing. Your legs seize, release, seize again. A convulsion grips your entire body. You lose your grip. You fall. 40 meters. Through layers of green light and wet air. Past ferns and bromeliads and spiderwebs. You hit the forest floor, the dark, dense understory where the air is thick and moisture sits at 94%. You don't know why you're here. The fungus does. This is the only place on the vertical column of the rainforest where temperature and humidity stay constant enough for it to reproduce. It dropped you here on purpose. You are cargo now. You have been cargo for 16 days. You stand up. Your legs move beneath you. You do not tell them to. The fungus walks you forward in a lurching, stuttering gait. You pass healthy ants on the ground, foragers following pheromone trails you can no longer see. They don't stop for you. They don't recognize you. You are chemically invisible. Your body reaches the base of a low understory plant. Your legs grip the stem. You climb. Not high. Not to the canopy. 26 centimeters. A specific height, measured by researchers across hundreds of infected specimens with GPs-level consistency. Your body orients to the north side of the leaf, where humidity holds at exactly 94%. You don't know what 26 centimeters means. You don't know what north means. You don't know why your jaw is opening. It is solar noon. The sun is directly overhead. Across the forest, every infected ant that has reached this stage does the same thing at the same time. The fungus has a clock. It syncs to the sun. It has been syncing to the sun since before humans walked upright. You bite down. Your mandibles close over the main vein of the leaf. Every unit of force your jaw can produce fires at once. And then the fungus ends it. It floods your mandibular muscles with microscopic particles that shred the muscle membranes from the inside. The fibers don't just contract, they hypercontract. They stretch past their limit. They tear. They snap. They dissolve into a solid, calcium hard mass that will never open again. Your jaw will never open again. Not when you die. Not when your soft tissues decay. Not when your exoskeleton eventually crumbles. The muscle no longer exists as muscle. What remains is a permanent structural lock fused to the leaf vein with more force than your body could ever have generated while it was still yours. You are still alive when this happens. You feel the last of your jaw tear apart. You feel threads of fungus push out through the joints in your feet, extruding through the gaps in your armor like white ropes, wrapping around the leaf surface, stitching your body to the plant from the inside out. You feel your abdomen lighten as your organs are consumed one by one. Your brain is the last thing it eats. Skip forward. Days pass. Your body is a husk, an empty shell reinforced by the fungus that consumed you, harder and more durable than it was when you were alive. Your feet are lashed to the leaf with fungal thread. Your jaw grips the vein. You hang beneath the leaf like a grotesque ornament. The back of your head cracks under pressure. A dark spike pushes through. The stroma, a fruiting body that grows upward, longer than your entire body. It takes weeks to mature. Bulbous sacs form near the tip, each one packed with thousands of needle-shaped spores pressurized to fire. The sacs rupture. Spores launch downward under hydraulic force, drifting through the humid air in a slow, invisible barrage, settling on the trail below where your sisters walk the same path they walked when you were alive. One of them will feel something stick to her back tonight. She will try to scrape it off. It won't move. Skip forward. Pull back. This is not one fungus. It is a complex. Hundreds of distinct species, each one locked in a private arms race with a single species of ant. The chemical keys that crack open a carpenter ant in a Thai rainforest are useless against one in Florida. The biochemical pathways are entirely different. The behavioral output is identical. Climb, bite, die, bloom. This specificity took time. 48 million years of it. We know because of a leaf. A fossil from a pit in Germany. A leaf preserved in volcanic sediment, 48 million years old, bearing the exact same dumbbell-shaped bite marks that zombie ants leave today. Same vein. Same pattern. Same grip. This has been happening since before the Himalayas rose, since before grass covered the continents, since before whales had finished turning from land animals into ocean ones. Every single day. In every tropical forest on Earth. Right now. And the parasite almost never wins. There is a second fungus. A parasite of the parasite. The zombie. When the stalk pushes out of the dead ant's head, it enters the most vulnerable phase of its life. A white, fuzzy organism, a hyperparasite, crawls up the dark spike. It blankets the spore sacs in suffocating mycelium. It chemically castrates the zombie fungus, blocking spore production entirely. 93.5% of all zombie fungus fruiting bodies are destroyed this way. Smothered before a single spore fires, the ant suffered for 3 weeks. The fungus grew for 3 more. And a third organism ate the result before it could reproduce. 6.5%. That is the success rate of 50 million years of evolution. That is what your entire life, your labor, your body, your consciousness, purchased for the organism that consumed you. A 6.5% chance that the spores reach the trail. The ant never knows. The fungus never knows. The hyperparasite never knows. None of them understand what they are or what they're doing. They execute chemistry. They have been executing the same chemistry, in the same forest, at the same height, at the same time of day, for longer than most mountain ranges have existed. A close relative of this fungus grows in the Himalayas. It infects moth larvae instead of ants, mummifying caterpillars underground. Herders find the dried bodies poking out of the soil at high altitude. They call it the caterpillar fungus. It sells for more than its weight in gold. The global market for this single species of parasitic fungus is worth $3.6 billion. Harvesters crawl across Tibetan plateaus on their hands and knees, scanning the ground for the thin, dark stalk of a fungus that killed something beneath the surface. The same biological machinery that puppeted your body and dissolved your jaw. Humans pay more for it, pound for pound, than almost any organic substance on Earth. You don't know that. You are an ant on the underside of a leaf in a rainforest that doesn't have a name. Here is the part that stays. In the forests where this cycle runs hottest, researchers have mapped what they call graveyards, tight clusters of dead ants, 20 to 30 bodies per square meter, hanging from the undersides of leaves and localized patches that stretch up to 30 meters across the forest floor. Every body in the same position, every jaw locked on a vein, every skull cracked open, every dark stalk reaching upward. Some of these graveyards have been active for years. The same patch of forest floor, the same colony above, the same trails running through the same gap in the canopy where the spores drift down every afternoon. The colony loses 3, 4, 5 foragers a week. It never sees the enemy. It never learns. It can't. The fungus operates below the threshold of detection, picking off individual workers the way a chronic disease picks off cells, slowly enough that the body never mounts a full response. The colony adjusts. It sends more foragers. It replaces the dead with the newly aged. The signal continues. 45 days. That is how long a worker lives. 45 days of carrying. 45 days of serving. 45 days of following a chemical signal through dark tunnels and bright canopy and everything in between. 45 days of building something you will never benefit from. Feeding mouths that will never feed you back. Defending a queen whose 15-year life depends on your 45-day one being perfectly, silently expendable. And for the ones who pick up a spore, for the ones whose 45 days are interrupted by a single invisible particle on a single ordinary afternoon, those days end here, 26 centimeters up, jaw locked, brain intact, body hollowed out, stitched to a leaf by the thing that ate you, converted into a cannon pointed at your own sisters. No one in the colony mourns you. There is no pheromone for grief. There is no chemical signal that says someone is missing. The trail you walked this morning is already being walked by the sister who aged into your job this afternoon. The honeydew you would have carried home is being carried by someone else. The larvae you raised will never know you existed. The signal doesn't pause. The signal doesn't slow down. The signal continues. There is one more creature that plays this game, but in reverse. It doesn't get taken over. It takes over. It finds a colony, walks inside wearing a chemical disguise so perfect that 10,000 workers feed it, groom it, and carry its young to safety while their own larvae starve. No fungus. No spores. Just a body that learned to speak the signal better than the ants themselves. That's next time